Assalamualaikum class. So today we are going to do Unit 1 Quadratic Equation, SLOC, which is Algebraic Identities. So what we are going to do is basically apply these identities that are written here, 1, 2, and 3. We are going to apply this to solve expansion and simplification problems. So first of all, we have to understand, basically recognize which of the three identities, identity 1, identity 2, identity 3, will be applied to the question. So if we look at this part A, so that's a whole bracket, and inside it is 3 minus y, and that's a whole square. So this looks something like this, but there's a plus there, so we can't apply this. If we come here, we can see that on the left side we have a minus, we have an a and a b, and then we have a bracket whole square. So this identity is what we will apply to question A. So we will just going to write identity 2. And so this is what the question 1 is about. Identify which identity can be applied to following algebraic expressions. So for part B, this algebraic expression, we have to figure out इन तीनों में से कौन सी identity लगेगी. So if we look at it closely, we see that there is a plus sign, there is x, y, and y, and then we have a whole square. So in these identities, whole square identity 1 में है और identity 2 में है, और identity 1 में प्लस का साइन है, identity 2 में माइनस का साइन है, और इसलिए हम identity 1 को चूज करेंगे because there is a plus there as well. So we will write identity 1. Now सी अगर हम देखें, तो सी जो है इस पे आइडेंटिटी अगर देखें, आइडेंटिटी 1 में भी कोई इस तरह की चीज़ नज़र नहीं आ रही मुझे, और आइडेंटिटी 2 में भी इस तरह की चीज़ मुझे नज़र नहीं आ रही. मैं अगर आइडेंटिटी 3 में देखूं, तो दिस इज समथिंग दैट लुक्स सिमिलर टू दिस. सो बेसिकली वी कैन अप्लाई आइडेंटिटी 3 to solve or expand this expression. Now, if we look at this part D, if we look at it here, it's a whole square, so we know that's going to be identity 1 or either identity 2. There is a minus sign and a plus sign, and so these are both plus, so identity 1 can't be it. Identity 2, but the thing is, minus sign is there. So what we can do is basically we can rearrange this. So 3 comes here, and q minus q goes here, so that becomes plus 3 minus q square, and this essentially is basically identity 2. So we are going to apply identity 2 to it. Now if we look at part E, if we look at it here, it's not a whole square, so that's power 4, and that's a 2. And so it doesn't look like this. It doesn't look like this. It does not have a whole square. So maybe we can apply identity 3, but this term looks somewhat like this, but the problem is there is a square and there is a square there as well. So we have to convert this in this form. So we would do this by, we know that 4 is a square of 2, and if y is square multiplied by a square again. So we can write it in this form, and now this thing and this thing is like this. Now, we have identified which identity we will use, so that's identity 3. Now, subsequently, in the question 2 says subsequently recognize, so we have recognized the value of A and B. So basically A or B in for each identity. So that's not identity, yeah, for each identity. So हमने ये जो हमारे पास algebraic expressions है, इसमें हमने figure out करना है कि इस identity 2 का A और B क्या होगा. So just write down the part which is similar to this. So that's A, sorry, a minus b square. And so we can see that 3 minus y, so 3 should be, a should be 3 from here, and from y, b should be y. Similarly, there's identity 1 का वो वाला पार्ट देखें जो हमारा कंसर्न है. So that's identity 1. Identity 1 का हमारे पास a plus b का square. And then we have to figure out, so x and y, both of this will be equals to a. So a equals to xy and y equals to, b equals to y. Identity 4 is basically identity 3 and identity 3 का ये वाला part है. So we have to write it here, a plus b and a minus b. Now we can see that a is basically d, and we can see that b is 2. b is equal to 2. And if we come here, we did it like this, so let's just rewrite this, 3 minus q square, and write the identity, that's a minus b. We recognized it in the first part, and so a equals to 3 and b equals to q, and in this case we have 2 square minus y square, so anything below the square will be actually this, so we write a minus b square. So this entirety is b, so a is equals to 2 and b is equals to y square. So now we have identified what are a and b in each cases. We're going to do next is basically we're going to expand and simplify. And so now we are in the position where we can apply these identities to actually expand and simplify. Usually you will have this question in the question paper and not these. So this was just to get you started with how to use this. So from here I can see that this is I have to apply basically identity 3. So I'm just going to write identity 3 right next to it. A minus b square is equal to a square minus 2ab plus b square. And then we have to figure out, so a is 3x and b is 3y. So I'm going to write it somewhere here. A is equals to 3x and b is equals to 2y. And now what I have to do essentially is basically put these a and b value into the formula. So that becomes 3x minus 2y square as it is. And so a is 3x, so remember to put a bracket, and then there is a whole square. There is a minus, minus 2 and a 2. A is 3x, put it in a bracket, and then b is 2y, so put it in a bracket, plus and b is 2y square. So this is the expression, and now we just simplify this. So 3 square is 3 3s are 9, x square minus plus minus minus plus minus 3 2s are 6, 6 2s are 12, x into y plus, and that's 2 into 2, 4. We take a square of 2 and y square and a plus sign. Now this is so we have expanded this expression using the identities. If we look at part B, we see that this is we have to apply identity 3. So we are just going to write a square minus b square is equal to a plus b. So we can actually do is Basically, we can write this part first because this is somewhere here. So a plus b and a minus b, and write this part afterwards. Now a is here basically 3x and b is basically b. So b is b here. And so we can basically input these values back into the formula. And so we have 3x plus b and bracket 3x minus b, and we put in the values. So we put in the values here as well. So that becomes 3x square minus b square. Put it in the bracket. That's it. 9. 3 into 3. If we take the 3 square, it becomes 9. X square or x square minus b square. And this is the answer that we got from this. What I want you to do is I want you to attempt the part C yourself, identify which of the identity is going to apply to it, figure out value of a and b, and expand it using it. Thank you.